This is the results of the survey that they did last year, 2022. We'll discuss it in a couple of different ways. First off, state of the faith in the UK, which has some really encouraging news within it. This is the headline stuff, and in a way this mirrors the census results that were done in 2021, but the results of that just came out in late 2022 as well, which the headline statistic, 48% of people tick the Christian box in the census, which is down from, was it 63% 10 years ago in 2011, and it was up at 73% in 2001. So it is coming down each 10 years significantly. But a lot of that is as the older generation is dying off. The exciting thing is the church is actually holding its ground in many ways. So, okay, headline figure, yeah, 48% tick the Christian box. 4% is the next largest religious grouping, Muslim, and that's across the UK as a whole. Obviously, that is massively regionally different. So in parts of London or Bradford, other cities, that percentage is going to be way higher. But in many places in the UK, it's actually way lower, and it's only 4% as a total of the population. And then you can see the other religious statistics there as well. But within that 48%, they drill down and they say 6% are practicing Christians and 42% are non-practicing Christians. Their definition in the survey of a practicing Christian is someone who goes to church at least once a month and who reads the Bible and prays at least once a week. So pretty good definitions, I'd say. I don't know if there is a watertight definition of how do you categorize what is a practicing Christian, but 6% of the UK population does that, which tallies with what many people have said in terms of general church attendance. It's roughly 5 or 6% that are attending church once a month or more. What that means is we've got a massively open evangelistic field in many ways. Yeah, we can beat ourselves up and say, oh, the numbers are coming down from 63% to 48%, but it actually means 42% of UK society are open enough to Christianity that they would tick a box to say, yes, I am a cultural Christian, I identify with Christianity in some way. So us as the 6% that are practicing and wanting to share that gospel message about Jesus have a massive open door in many ways to start chatting with that 42%. That means pretty much half, certainly, or 40% of the people that we might chat with have some degree of affinity that they would declare to Christianity. I mean, that's got to be a great head start for us. And also, the 6% is holding up, if that's the true church, whereas the 42% is coming down, each 10 years. The genuine, true practicing church is remaining the same size, or even actually slightly growing. That's good news in itself. And then interesting how people describe Jesus. 20% of people, 1 in 5 people, think that he is God in human form who lived among people in the first century. I mean, that's massive. If only 6% are practicing, so what the other 14%, that's a massive part of the population that really identify with Jesus in so many of the ways that we're trying to talk to them about, that they are massively open to the claims of Jesus, and therefore can we get them more engaged with church and turn into practicing Christians? A quarter of people think he's just a normal human being, and okay, a third of people think he's not God, but they still accord him some high status of a prophet or a spiritual leader. So again, well, I think it's amazing that 20% do believe that he's God, but therefore another 58% have some degree of affinity and are open to us talking with them about him and explaining more who he is as God. These are the ways that people describe Jesus. At the highest is spiritual, 43% think he's spiritual. And then you've got loving, peaceful, wise, and leader coming out really high as well. Hopefully that's encouraging for us as Sanctuary when we're trying to talk about Jesus in terms of the expert in spirituality, justice, and leadership. This shows that actually society is generally recognizing him in those categories as well. So the way in which we're talking about him makes sense and is the way in which many people in society already view him. And we want to reinforce that and say, yes, he is really spiritual. Let me explain how. He is an amazing leader. Let me talk to you more about that. Actually, he's really loving and peaceful and wise and cares about justice. Let's talk about that. Was Jesus a real human being, a historical person? Okay, 54% say yes. Going, well, is that good? It's, higher than 50%. It's more than half. But 28% think that he's a mythical or a fictional character. So maybe a great thing that we could do is talk about the evidence that we have for believing, no, Jesus was a real human being. Most historians would recognize that. There's no serious grounds for saying that he's mythical or fictional. So we need to have more confidence in talking about the evidence for Jesus being a real person. And maybe people then will become more receptive to him. And then also, in terms of belief in the resurrection, 16% of the population think the resurrection of Jesus happened word for word, as described in the Gospels. Another 29% think that it happened, that Jesus did rise from the dead. But, okay, maybe there are some stories in the Bible not to be taken literally. 41% don't believe in the resurrection. But again, does that mean that we should talk more about Jesus as a real person, Jesus as God, and the evidence that Jesus actually did rise from the dead? I think this stuff should give us encouragement to have some of those conversations, and that it gives us a steer into some of the truths that we want to be dropping in to those conversations. Okay, let's stop and have a dialogue around that. It'd be interesting to know what in that you find encouraging or anything that you find surprising in any of those statistics.